Okay, so we're going to get started here on this week's call. Hope everybody's doing awesome. So one thing I want to talk about today, I don't have anything prepared, so we're going to shoot from the hip on this. I just had this. Oh, here we go. Can you hear me? Okay. Am I coming through clear? Okay. So one thing I do want to talk about, we'll go through some things just like we normally do, and just talk about what's going on, any issues, any victories, any testimonies that you might have that's going on. And then we might slide into, if we have time, we may slide into some mindset stuff involving money. So it was brought up a couple of weeks ago, I think. And so something that it's something that I'm studying personally in my own free time, whenever that is. And it's really good stuff. It affects really a lot of what we do or what we don't do, what we think about money and how we relate to money. It's something that we typically don't want to talk about, which tells me it's something that we probably need to talk about. So anyway, what I'm learning, I'm actually going to revamp our homeschool curriculum. And so my son he's in his junior year right now. His senior year, I'm taking complete ownership of his education, and it's going to be very, very much outside the box of typical education. And one of the main things that we will be covering is financial education, because that's a really important aspect of education and success, in my opinion. So we are going to do that. So anyway, before we start talking about that, anybody have anything they want to share, anything going on? Do you want to share any victories, any lessons learned, any questions, complaints, any of those things?
I'll share really quick.
Yeah.
I signed up a dream teamer, and now his son wants to work the business.
Perfect. Is that Alex?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. I had a great conversation with Alex the other day, and he's got a lot of things going on. It's going to be fun to see what happens with him. Who else?
I'm at a stalled area in my business right now.
Okay.
I'm working, but there have been maybe a few areas I kind of fell a little short on the last few days. I've been in a really, I don't know, just not a good brain space. For some reason, I've been in a negative brain space, which is not normal for me. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. But as of like last night and this morning, I feel a lot better. So I hope to pick it back up, and I hope things move along better.
Yeah. So sometimes, sometimes in life, we're just not feeling it. Right. And so it's not just a plexus thing. I think it's a exercise thing. It's a finance thing. It's a marriage thing. It's a parent thing. It's a go to the gym thing. It's a eat healthy thing. Like, I think every area of life we go through those things. So just to encourage you, you're not alone.
I still reached out to like over 20 people,
Yeah.
20, 25 people each day. But I don't know, I didn't work some of the areas that I normally would have worked. And I didn't feel like doing it. I was like, I'm just not doing that. But I did, like I said, I did do my reach outs, but I didn't do some of the follow-ups maybe that I should have done or could have done.
Mm-hmm.
Or the posts, like I don't think I did any posts yesterday, not even personal posts. I don't think I did anything yesterday on posts. So it's just that kind of stuff.
I mean, that's okay. Sometimes you can pull back, and reset, just rethink things. And, I don't know, probably the last time I posted, a few days ago, maybe a couple days ago. Anyway, I just taken a little bit of a break. and just haven't been on my phone much. I've been focusing on some other areas. I've been reading a lot more and listening to a lot more ministry, listening to a lot more things in light of financial education, um, and just more of a refocus. So sometimes it's not necessarily bad if we pull back. Just depends on why we're pulling back, right? And so those things aren't necessarily bad, just sometimes we just gotta sometimes you just have to unplug for a second and recharge, reset. So but I'm glad to hear you're feeling better today and you're you know getting back after it. That's a good thing. Who else? Anybody else have anything?
I'll share one more thing.
Yeah.
This, because I think it might have been this group that I first told anyway, so I'll let y'all in on this piece of it too. And that's how Plexus started me on the road to recovery for 37 years of being bulimic.
Yep.
And like I said, I did not see that coming. Had no
Mhm.
idea Plexus was going to help me with that, but it has. And after, like I said, 37 years of being an active bulimic, I have not been active now since about September of 2022. So anyways, the reason I'm telling y'all this now is because this might be helping me while I was feeling in a funk anyways, because I wanted to tell my husband doesn't know, been married 35 years. He never knew about this. It's been a deep, dark secret of mine. So as of last night, he does now know. I told him last night. So sat him down because I want to be able to help other people with this. And I know Plexus helped me. I know how it helped me. I can help other people in the areas that it helped me because I know how that did and how it works, and and I can help other people. And I really couldn't come out and help other people in fear of him finding out. So now I feel good about that I can really go forward and help other people. So with that said, if you have other people or somebody that is struggling in that area,
Mhm.
send them to me and I can help them understand how Plexus helped me with it. What I used, the pieces I used of Plexus, it, is different pieces and the mind frame behind it and everything that helped me.
Sure. That's a big deal. And so that's huge actually. And so, a couple different things that come to mind. One is awesome to be vulnerable. And, I've said before, I think on these calls, probably, I know I say it to my family, but humility is a superpower. It really is. God gives grace to the humble. So if God gives grace to the humble, then the humble person has superpowers, in my opinion. So, being humble and being vulnerable is a superpower, and who knows what will open up to you now for just being open and vulnerable, being humble. And so so good for you. I think that's huge. That you probably feel lighter, would be my guess, free, like the weight off your shoulders, so to speak. And I think that's awesome. So I'm excited to see what happens moving forward with this. One thing that you could consider doing is, are you on Instagram? You may
I'm
consider.
only on Facebook. I tried Instagram and I have not been able to really figure out the ins and outs of it yet.
One of the cool things about Instagram, so on Facebook, you can connect typically a lot with, friends, with connections, with people like that. On Instagram, it's interesting because you can connect with people through hashtags. And so if you were to hashtag bulimia, that opens you to it opens you to the globe of bulimics and bulimia as a, as a health issue. And so you may consider that. And one thing that you might consider if you start sharing your story on social media, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whatever, is share it from a perspective of, like, share it instead. I'm not saying you would do this, but sometimes we do this, like when we go to post or we post, we're posting to sell something. Don't really post to sell
Yeah.
anything. Post to connect with people that have the same struggle that you have had. Like, try really focus on connecting with that group of people. So every post doesn't have to be about Plexus. It could be about your experience, how long, when it started, why it started, what words were said to you that caused you to start doing those things, what hurt happened. Like, you have an opportunity to really connect to people on a deep level here, not just a probiotic level, not just a sales level. You have a real opportunity to connect with people all the way down to the hurt. Like, you have a story. And so, so think through that and how you can connect with people and really help people here. I mean, because you have more to share than just Plexus, Roberta. You have experience.
Yeah.
How long? 30, how long?
37 years.
37 years.
And it's really, when you say what was said that started it,
Yep.
to this day, I know exactly what got me, how I got started, what was said that day.
Exactly.
That got me started, how I learned it. I didn't even know it was a thing. I was like
Yeah.
24 years old, had not even a clue that that was a thing. I didn't know about this in school.
This is the type of story, this is the type of experience that can be shared from stage at convention. Like, I'm just saying. Because this sort of a story.
Let's hope I get that opportunity one day.
You have to start sharing the story.
I'm gonna figure out, I'm gonna get it going now, like you say, and I'm not coming from a place that I'm gonna say, well, Plexus healed this. No, it's gonna be bits and pieces, and
Sure.
yeah.
I think that you have a huge opportunity here. I mean, not just a business opportunity, really a ministry opportunity to help people. I think, and like I said, when we get humble, when we open ourselves up and we get vulnerable, grace gets added. And when grace gets added, boy, look out, because who knows? Who knows what that could lead to? So super excited for you. Why don't we pray real quick? Let's pray for Roberta before we move on. We got time for this, so we should pray. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity that we have to meet together today. We thank you for Roberta. We thank you for allowing her to humble herself and to have a hard conversation with her husband. Your word says that you resist the proud, but you give grace to the humble. So we know, based off your word, that you are giving grace to Roberta right now as we speak. And give her wisdom to share her story and her experience with others so that they may be set free as well. We just commit her to you, give her wisdom, help her to see things she's never seen before, give her eyes to see and ears to hear what it is you're trying to teach her and show her through all this. Help her to gain a network of people that she can help set free. And we pray these things in Jesus' name, amen. Good stuff.
Thank you, Justin. And I'm gonna be crying all day.
Hey, nothing wrong with crying. I cry. I spent about 40 some years not crying. Then someone gave me permission to cry. And I cried a lot. I had a lot of catching up to do. And so there was decades of tears that needed to come out. So I cried for a few days, but a man gave me permission. And he said, you have permission to cry. I give you permission to cry. And now I get older and it seems like I cry all the time. So I don't know what the heck the deal is, but I'm cool with it. Whatever. Whatever. Anyway, that's good stuff. Guys, I may cry with you. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. But pray through that though, Roberta, and ask the Lord to show you what platform to use, because that's a big story. And like I said, you have a lot more to share than supplements there. You have experience, you have hurt, you have recovery, vulnerability. There's a lot there that you can work with. So super excited for you. Who else has something?
I do. I have been working hard on connecting with new people here where we have moved to. Just being present and like learning who they are and listening, and been working a lot with Lana, trying to figure out goals and things like that. But I gave out some samples to a friend, and trying to help her see the difference between, what is that stuff called? It's on TV all the time, all the supplements, the Fruit Valley, what, I can't think of the name of it now, Nature of Valley supplements or whatever that. So I'm trying to work through showing her why ours is better right now. So her husband is a newly diagnosed diabetic. Her daughter is a newly diagnosed PCOS. She's got some autoimmune issues. So just trying to listen and hear what they have been trying, what has been working for them, what's not working, without you need Plexus. And trying to build relationships with just new teams and new friends, new parents, things like that. And try and make some progress out here. I've been very dry for a while adding anybody. I don't even know if I would remember how to add a person at this point. It's been that long. But trying to keep the people I do have and keep them happy and customer service with those guys. So I'm working on that.
Yeah. Well, and the people that you have, don't be afraid to also, if they have, especially if they have good results and they're thrilled with everything, don't be afraid to be asking them about their network and who they can help. Like, so a part of what we do as far as growing our business and growing our network is doing our work, yes, but also helping tap into other people on your team and their networks as well. So
yeah, that is something else too. My dad he's been working on a couple of his friends. He actually went to the doctor a couple weeks ago, and he actually sent me a message, and he was like, sorry.
It's okay.
He thanked me for sharing with him because his life has changed in the last 2 years for the better. I don't know if he'd still be with us if I hadn't shared with him, because his health was that bad.
Sure.
And he went to the doctor, and his blood work is better than it's been in 20 years, and things that he was dealing with. So I'm glad he trusted me, but he is really trying to work on building a team and getting a couple of his friends. And so I'm trying to be there for him and answer questions and send stories and things like that. But they're all older and they don't want to, put the money out, and they're all on prescriptions from the doctor or whatever, they're set in their ways because they're older. But yeah, proud of my dad for just sharing that with me, because he didn't have to. He just is working through things, and it's good. He's seeing a change.
Yeah, that's real good. And a couple things. So we're talking about things here. One thing is in light of posting and sharing with people. And this goes for Plexus. This goes for a church service, whatever. I'd rather listen to a testimony than a sermon any day of the week. I'll study the Bible on my own. I don't need a preacher. I don't need a pastor. I'll be honest. I don't. They're nice, right? They fill in the gaps and stuff, but I can do that on my own. Now, someone who stands up and shares a testimony or a story, totally different scenario. So let's think about that as we are talking about sharing with other people, as we're talking about posting, as we're talking about sharing with other people. We've heard two great stories already this morning. A story is more powerful than a sales pitch any day of the week. They just are. And so as far as sharing with other people, you share your story. That's where the power is. And that's where you get excited. You know, and I'm not accusing anybody of using a sales pitch either, but what I'm saying is don't be afraid of your story, no matter how insignificant you might think it is, right? It's significant. It's your story. And you can, when you start telling your story, you get excited. Like your voice raises, you get excited, your eyes light up, and there's power there, right? Because it's your story. It's a part of your life that you're sharing with people. So as you're sharing with people, share your story. That's where the power is. Your dad has a great story. Roberta, you have a great story, right? There's a lot of great stories on here. Don't be afraid to share your story. Because that's where you're going to find, I mean, you can give knowledge about products and about business and all that stuff. And that stuff is important, but man, your story is where it's at. That's where you're going to connect with people. And your dad has a great story. And nothing can, and the thing is, nobody can take your story away from you. Nobody can take your experience away from you. They can argue probiotics. They can argue manufacturer location. They can argue blah, 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 right? But they will never be able to argue with your experience and your story. That's your story. God has allowed you to experience that for a reason. It's not to keep to yourself, right? Whatever the story is. And so don't minimize the power of your story, whether it's Plexus or it's in life, whatever it is, whatever your story is. You know, Plexus is just a small part of our life, guys. We all have great stories to share. Don't be afraid to share them. And so it's great stuff. I had a guy, you talked about diabetes. I just got a message from a guy just a week ago, 1 week ago. And this is a guy I reached out to for 6 years too, by the way. And he finally signed up at the beginning of the year. And he went in, he's on the triplex and ease, I think. I'd have to double check that, but the triplex for sure. He said, I just wanted to give you an update from my doctor's appointment. A1C went from 10.5 down to 9, and he lost a couple pounds in 3 months. And so that's a great story, you know, and he's moving in the right direction. He's feeling great. He feels good. And for him to say that, I mean, that's a story, you know, that's what he needs to be sharing with people when he's ready to start sharing with people. It's just sharing the facts of his story. He doesn't need to share the facts of chromium. He probably doesn't even know what chromium is. Probably doesn't even know how to spell it. And I'm not running the guy down. I've known him since I was little. He's probably never even heard of chromium. Chromium will not connect him to other people. Chromium will not, he's not going to connect with other people with chromium. He's going to connect with other people on the way he feels and the actual numbers from his A1C numbers, like his story. That's how he will connect with them. That's how we will connect with people too, is just with our story. So awesome stories. Awesome stories. Who else has something they want to share?
I have something.
Yeah.
I signed up for a project broadcast way back before Emily Gibson did her thing on it. And I couldn't figure it out. So I hired my daughter to set it up for me. She's in college, and I was trying to recruit my boys and they didn't want to do it. And she overheard me. She's like, "Hey, I'm a struggling college student. I'll do it for you." And her major is business. She's like, "Mom." So I hired her to set it up for me, and I told her what to say, and she did out the first one for me. So I've been trying to figure out how to do it myself, and I was really struggling. So I got to the point where I was like, you know what, it's not worth the effort, and I'm going to cancel it before it charges me again. And seriously, that day when I made that decision, Emily Gibson did a workshop on how to utilize project broadcast and how to make it work for your business. Like, okay, I'll keep it. So I kept it for another month. I paid for it and I still couldn't figure it out. Even with her training, I was just, so I started doing YouTube videos, and I finally was able, it was almost by accident, because I get this mental block and it's like, I do not see the right button. I swear I'm pushing every single thing. I mean, I do YouTube videos and it's like it doesn't look the same on my phone as it does. I'm like, it's a nightmare, but I get inside my own head. And I kept thinking, if I can do YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, I can figure out project broadcast. Well, this morning I did it. I sent out project broadcast after months of fighting with the stupid app. I figured it out and I sent out a project broadcast, and I got like 6 people who responded right away. I did it for the group tonight, the real stories, real testimonies thing. And I had like 6 people respond. "Oh, that sounds cool. I want to do that tonight." So I was like, so that's a huge win for me, because I was so ready to cancel that dumb thing. I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth my brain trying to fight with this.
No, that's awesome. That's we use Project Broadcast, and it's a great tool. And so good for you. I mean, so you had 6 people respond, like they are, what are they wanting to do? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm hitting all these buttons and my phone's going nuts. So I advertised the thing tonight, and they were saying, yeah, I'll go to it's a real stories, real testimonies that Ann, Lisa and Amy are doing tonight. So yeah, I had 6 people saying, yeah, I'd like to do that. So I copied Megan's wording that she had put in the group and stuff, and the link and everything, which was good because I didn't even have the link. So
Perfect. Perfect. That's good. Yeah, invite people to that tonight. That'll be that should be good. Also, for that, also like the real stories, real people thing, bring business-minded people. Like if there's people, on your list or on your network that you think would be excellent at the business, bring have them attend that. That should be a good event. So awesome. Who else has something they want to share?
Okay. I'll share something that I learned this week, and it's kind of because I've never done this before. So I don't know if you know, like some of the challenges Megan has given us, and she's like, go do that green light thing and just, see who's on your green light messages and just pop this message out real quick. Well, I did that really quick. I didn't like go in and just like read through the messages. I'm just like, I'm going to just do it real quick, get it done. Well, apparently I messaged somebody that I don't even know.
Perfect.
That may be beyond.
Yeah, that was challenging because now they're like, what's wrong with you, you weirdo? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I was literally on here messaging my green light messages, and they're like, well, it's rude to message people about weight loss. And I'm like, I don't remember saying weight loss. I look at my message. I didn't say weight loss. I said reset group. I'm like, I didn't say anything about weight loss. It's about health. And they're like, yeah, I seriously doubt that. And I was like, oh, I see. I said, that's very interesting. Well, first I had to stop and pray because I wanted to say other things. I was like, don't do that.
Smart.
I
move.
said, that's very interesting. I said, because I prefer to check things out before I just assume something. And they came back with something else. And I was just like, I'm really sorry that I scared you or startled you or whatnot. I'm just a homeschool mom on here chatting with friends and talking about health. And they had said something else. And I just kind of like, I said, oh, I know what it was. I said, I share this stuff because it has literally just helped me so much. It's helped me with energy and my mental clarity. And that affects my relationships and how I show up in my life. I said, so it's really legit and I love it. And I said, you don't have to take anything that I'm saying like at all, but I bet you have a friend that you know and you trust that can answer this and tell you the same thing that I'm telling you. So if you're at all curious in health, you should seek that out for yourself instead of assuming it doesn't work. And then she didn't respond anymore. And I was like, oh, phew, because I don't know what else I would have said after that. So that was a lesson. Like, I'm going to double check who I message, even if they're in my green light messages.
Right.
Apparently mean I know them. And then the other thing was, I've been in a funk for like a week and a half, maybe more. It started on the 4th of March. That's when it started. So my mom came into town. I'm the oldest of 10. My family's crazy. Don't always have the best relationships. That's just it. My dad passed away last year. Things are complicated, but my mom's coming into town for my daughter's 18th birthday. And that actually was special. That meant something, but it just affects the mind. Like, it's so challenging for all kinds of reasons. And so I got into this thing, like I did an event on the 4th, and then I think I've been mostly posting. I have been slack on my posts. Like, there's days I haven't said anything. And it's just because like Roberta was saying, like, I just didn't feel it. And I'm like, I can't be fake. It's really hard for me to just muster up this like fake bubbly energy. So I'm like, it's probably better that I just don't. So I've kind of been in that state. And then my daughter had spring break, and spring break was not a break for me. It got busier. I'm like, okay. So it was more challenging to like fit some of my stuff in. And so I was really just doing bare minimum. And then I made the offhand comment, like I was thinking it in my head. I'm like, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe this is just too much work. Maybe it's too challenging. Like, maybe I just don't have it in me. Like, I don't like, it's honestly, Plexus is true work for me because I'm not an extrovert person. I'm not the best person with my words. I have to like really think a lot. But I know that it's important. Like, I want to share it because of what it's done for me. So like, I see benefit, but I'm not going to lie, it's hard. And so I'm just like thinking, maybe it's not worth it. I've been doing this for 3 years. Here I am sitting at gold, dropping below gold. I can't seem to like progress. I think I've been at gold for like two of the 3 years I've been with Plexus, which to me sounds ridiculous. I'm like, come on, Steph, you know the things to do. Why can't you do that? Why is relationships such a struggle? Why is messaging and reaching out such a struggle? So I'm having all that in my head, right? Not saying anything to nobody because, I don't want to be like the complainer person. And it just came out. I was like, maybe I should just quit. Like, I haven't done anything in over a week or something. And she was like, Mom, I haven't done anything in a week. You can't quit. Like, go make a post. I'm like, fine, now I have to go make a post. So anyway, my God used my daughter to like encourage me, but at the same time, I'm still feeling a little frustrated with my business. So I don't know what that's worth to anybody, but I thought it would. I at least appreciated that my daughter wasn't like, yeah, Mom, go quit because it's not worth it and it's taking up too much of your time. And I'd rather you make me a smoothie. Like, she sees the value in me doing it. So that was encouraging.
That is encouraging. It's encouraging to it's encouraging to see those things. I've had those moments. Like, I'm done. I'm gonna go pour concrete. I've had a moment that way this year. And I went out to the woods and I'm like, and I sat in the tree stand, just, I don't know, talking about being vulnerable and being humble and all those things. I'll be honest, it was probably 3 weeks ago. I'm like, I'm not holding rank. Things aren't going well. I'll just go pour concrete. I can do that. So I just went and sat in the woods, and I sat in a tree stand for a while and just prayed, and then just tried to clear my mind a little bit. And it's at the same time someone told me that, about the whole posting thing and how you were bragging and all that stuff and all. So I'm like, there was a lot of things that came all at once. And I was just like, okay, Lord, just show me what to do. I don't really care. Like, I just want to make sure I'm where you want me to be. I said, I'll quit today. If this isn't what you want me to do, I'm done. I just make it clear what you want me to do. And I came home and, I had 2 people sign up. 2 people sign up on my team without even my help. I wasn't even here, and they had signed up, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I won't quit today. And so I think it's just part of it. I think this is just business. I don't even know that it's Plexus or network marketing. It's business. And we are business owners. Each one of us we're a part of a team. Yes, we're individuals. Yes, but each of us have our own business and our own organization. And in business, there are ups and there are downs. And this is why a lot of people don't go into business, or a lot of people don't stay into business, because running a business is hard. There's challenges. As soon as things start going smooth, you should be scared, because there's a challenge coming in the business world. The business world changes extremely fast. The financial world changes fast. The banking system changes fast. Like all those things, the market changes fast. And so I think this is just business, and that we have to start seeing ourselves as business owners. We're not just someone sharing a couple things here. No, we're actually a business owner. And so, we need to view ourselves that way. And this is just the way business works. And so, hang in there. And one thing is too, your daughter is right. Go make a post. Action.
I did
We'll do a lot. Huh?
And I thought it's like, because the first thing I do every morning is I do my Bible stuff, because that's something that when I started Plexus, I was like, I'm never going to let a commitment to my business come before Bible reading. If anything is going to go off to the side, it's going to be my Plexus work, not my devotion time.
Yep.
And that's just me. Like, that's just how I have to do it. But anyway, in the different devotions over the past week, a couple thoughts have come to mind. I'm still thinking over them, but I'll share them with you guys.
Sure.
The thought was that this is just life in general. Like, if it's not Plexus, I'm going to be challenged by something else. Something else is going to be difficult, feel frustrating, overwhelming, all the things, because that's just life. There will be other challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one thought that I had. And then follows is like, well, why not let it be Plexus, something that could potentially create additional income for me, right? Mm-hmm. So might as well be that challenge. And then the other thought that I had, and this was just yesterday morning, but the thought was, if maybe I am not fully trusting God in my business, and maybe for me, not for everybody, but for me, maybe part of my problem is more of a faith thing, that I'm not fully surrendering and just doing the things and just completely leaving it in God's hands. Like, I'm worrying too much about stuff or feeling too much pressure from it because I haven't just let it go and just do my best.
Right.
So that was a thought. I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate or not, but it's something that I'm exploring.
Sure. I think that's a great question to ask. I think that's a great thing to consider. But one thing is when we're in a funk, sometimes action is all that's needed. We just need, whether you're feeling it, whether you're not feeling it, whether do something. Like action will put a lot of those things to rest. Massive action if necessary. Roberta, you have your hand up. You have a question?
I do, sort of.
Okay.
You know, and Justin, this goes into what Stephanie was just talking about too. And it also, Justin, you're always saying, well, I'm not always saying, but anyways, a meeting or two back, you were saying, you know, be specific on what you pray and ask God for,
Yep.
not just, you know, a general, like, hey, I need you to help me with my Plexus business, but be specific on what you need help for.
Right.
So I was like Stephanie also, and that was part of my little funk too, maybe, is last month, you know, I got discouraged last month because I work hard and I did not bring anybody in. It was my first month since I've been in, you know, the Plexus for a year. I did not bring anybody in and I fell off my 100 points. And that's the first time that's happened in the year. So, you know, I got a little discouraged or whatever. So I had to come up with another frame of mind. And that, you know, and you were saying, you know, and then in one of our meetings, you said, be specific in your prayers. So in my prayers every morning, I'll ask God, you know, please help me. I tell him, I said, if you want me, if this is what you want me doing in Plexus is helping people, you know, please at least have them say yes to the opportunity, to the products and the business when I present it to them, you know, and stuff like this. So I wanted to get a little bit more specific after you said those words, be specific. So I'm thinking, okay, in my little head, what can I specify? So I prayed for him. I said, and this was during my funk earlier this week. I said, all right. I said, you need to show me that this is what you want me to be doing. I said, so today, don't wait any longer. Today, I want you to give me some kind of a site that I will understand what that meaning is, that I need to continue to share Plexus. And it was, God works in mysterious ways, y'all. So between that morning and that night, 2 people that I had sent samples to, without me going back to them yet, I hadn't even followed up with them yet. They came to me, hey, how can I buy that stuff you sent me? And I send the active out as a sample. I don't send slim for the most part. I send active. So they wanted the active. So then I did my little chats with them. I could not convince them yet to give the welcome pack a try, like the triplex or anything. All they wanted was the active. Both of them. It was just wow. So they both have done retail orders. They didn't even want to come in as members to get the wholesale price for it. There's like, nope, money's not the problem. I want to make sure I like this product before I do this. I'm not joining any membership. Just how do I order this stuff? So they both retail ordered from me for this month, the active. So I'm like, okay, that was specific and that's what I got. So I wanted to let you know, you told me to be specific and I did, and that's what I got.
Well, perfect. And then the proper response is, thank you, Lord, for these retail customers. How awesome is this? And so, yeah, if you're going to pray, be specific. I am very like if you would probably wonder if I was a Christian when you hear me pray, because I don't get real religious. However I talk to you is how I talk to God, and I don't try to cover and clean anything up. I let it rip. And so it's who I am, and I don't play games. So when I pray, it's pretty raw and it's pretty real. And I'm very specific when I pray. Like I've been praying something very specific for my 2 oldest sons, actually all the sons in my house, and my future sons-in-law, which were decades away from, I hope. But I've been praying very specifically, down to business, down to what they do with finances, like very specifically. I've been praying Psalm 112, to be honest. Psalm 112 is what I've been praying for that group of people. And we went to we went to a different church service in Ohio. The two oldest boys and I went to, we were in Ohio this last weekend, and we went to a different church while we were out there, and it was awesome. We had a great time. And then this guy came up and said, "Hey, can I pray over your sons?" I said, "Absolutely." And he prayed exactly what I've been praying. He didn't pray Psalm 112, but he prayed all the content of Psalm 112 over my sons. And it was just a great, very specific confirmation. Kind of like, this guy didn't know us. He doesn't know my prayer life. And so, I think being very specific, it's easy to document the things that God answers and things if you're very specific. If we pray kind of, Lord, give me a good day. Okay, well, what's that even mean? Like, I don't know. I guess in God's economy, a good day could be a house burning down if you're going to learn a lesson. I mean, you might want to be careful how you pray. I met a guy for lunch. I had a 3-hour lunch with a man yesterday, and he prayed. He's like, "Lord, I know I should quit drinking alcohol, but I don't want to quit. So you're going to have to make me quit." And I was like, "Ooh." And so he ended up in the hospital with pancreatitis, and so, I mean, you want to be very specific in how you pray, but also careful. Kind of like, "Lord, give me patience." Don't pray that. Like, it is specific, and he will specifically answer that prayer. But be specific, and in light of who you want on your team, why you want them on your team, and what you're going to do when you get them, and just share the desires of your heart with him. He's probably planted that seed in your heart anyway. So, like, it's not like you're going to surprise him or offend him. He already knows. Just, again, vulnerability, being humble. He gives grace to the humble. Be humble. Whether that is, I'm afraid to reach out to this person, or I'm afraid to fail, or he already knows. Like, he's seen this before. Like, he's not going to get nervous if you start sharing your heart and your specific intentions and desires with him about what you really want to do with the business. And if it's a financial thing, let's cover just for a second on finances. With more success with Plexus, it will add more money. It's just in any business, the more successful you are, the more you grow, the more finances that you can steward. And if that's one of your goals with Plexus, is to make more money, it's okay. Like, it's estimated King Solomon was a trillionaire. Like, you realize this, right? Like, so it's like, so let's get past this idea that money is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Money is just a piece of paper or a piece of gold. It's like the lowest rung of responsibility in the kingdom, by the way. It's not the top rung. It's like the first one. And so learning how to handle that in a godly manner, in a kingdom way, is like the first step of kingdom blessing. Like, the Bible is very, just read the parables of the talents and just read some of those things and how they speak of money. You handle these little things, like money's such a little thing in the kingdom. I'll help. You can rule 10 cities now. Okay, you know how to handle the money. Okay, now you go rule 10 cities because I can trust you with that lowest rung of the kingdom responsibility. Now I can trust you. And so, like, even if you're some of your goals with your Plexus business is to make more money, it's okay. Doesn't mean you're evil. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong or should apologize or feel bad for, but be specific in it. I have, for me, I have very specific goals on why I want to make more money. Now, if I don't make more money, it's okay. My life's not over. But I set my goals really high, and I set my goals according to scriptural principles. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. That's part of my prayer life. That's in the Proverbs. Houses and land come from a father, but a prudent wife comes from the Lord. That's in the Proverbs. I pray that. And I pray specifically why I want to do those things. Psalm 112 has to do with finances. It has to do with business. It has to do with giving to the poor. Like, that's the type of people I want to recreate with my children. I want them to bless other people because they've been blessed, right? So when you're praying and asking these things, even with your Plexus business, don't be afraid to ask for more money. If that's part of your goal, you just want to know why. If it's to lay on the beach and do nothing for 20 years and just get a suntan and drink umbrella drinks, then you might want to dig a little deeper than that, right? So maybe one weekend out of the year is not too bad, but if that's your lifestyle you're looking for, probably not a kingdom lifestyle. But really consider that. If you could think about that this week, this could be our homework. This is just like a mental exercise, and write it down. Like, if you could be whatever rank you wanted to be in Plexus, right? What would you do with the extra income? Why? And why would you want that? Like, really consider that. Why would you want that? Like, if you could, what's your ideal rank and why from a financial perspective? Why would you want to be an emerald? Why would you want to be a diamond? Why would you want to be gold or senior gold? Whatever. It's your goal. It's your idea. There's no right or wrong answer here, right? But just dream a little bit. And why? Like, what would you do with that extra income? Would it be enough? Would it be enough to bless your home and then some? Would your cup run over with that amount of money? I don't know. Think through that. Just dream a little bit. Why not? Like, we have access to all the tools and riches of heaven as a believer. Every one of them, by the way. Like, all the riches of heaven are available to us. All the tools. We are a child of the King. So if you're a child of the King, you have access to all of the kingdom, including the silver and gold. So how can we glorify the King with that? I don't know. Just dream, though. Dream through that. Think through that. Pray through that. Because I think the way we view some of those things does hold us back from getting to the next level, the next rank, the next tax bracket, whatever. So it's something we should really look at. So anyway, think through that. Think through those things. Guys, we got to go. Anybody have anything before we get off here? Got about 2 minutes left. Okay. Well, anyway, just pray through those things. Ask the Lord to show you those things. Why would you want that next rank? What would it do for you? What would it do financially? And dream big. What kind of school could you build? Whose light bill could you pay for a year? Who could you put groceries in their refrigerator for? That's why wealth building, in my opinion, is important. It has nothing to do with Lamborghinis and Ferraris. I mean, we live on an asphalt, like an oil and chip road that's covered in cow crap half the time. Even if I wanted those cars, it would be a waste because they'd be completely covered in cow manure by the time I got home. So it doesn't even work for us. So, but why? Just dream. And because network marketing has the opportunity to meet all of those expectations and then some. Like, this industry has the ability to do that. And there's amazing things like, what ministry would you fund? What you know? I don't know. Think through those things. So, and ask God to show you. So I was specific. Ask God to show you if there's any hangups that you have in light of that. Ask him to show you, just make it real to you. If there's any hangups you have with success, with ranking up, with more money, this is my number one reason for doing this, to give big. There you go. There you go. And another thing, we can talk about this next week, because a lot of times these things are stewardship. So give big now. Whatever big looks like. Big's not a dollar amount either, by the way, folks. The widow who gave Elijah 2 mites is the one we remember in scripture for giving the most. So don't think it's like a big dollar amount. It's not. That's not how the kingdom works. She gave the 2 last little mites she has, and she was just going to go die. Okay, I'll just give this to you, right? So don't think it's a big dollar amount. That's not big giving. So just think through those things. Who would you give to? Who would you bless? The more that God blesses you, who are you going to bless? So think through those things. It'll be interesting to see what kind of dreams get revealed throughout this next week. I want to hear about it next week, because then you start getting excited, right? Then it's like, oh, okay. It just gets fun. The more we can bless other people. So guys, have a great week. Awesome call. Again, if you need anything, feel free to reach out on Facebook Messenger, and I'll be glad to help you in any way that I can. So you guys have a great week, and probably see you tonight on the call. See you guys.